Hi, everybody. This is my talk. I already got the intro, so don't need to go into that. I'm the Chair and Global Chief Creative Officer of RGA. We're a creative innovation company, and we create more valuable experiences for people and brands. And so I want to talk to you a little bit more about experiences today. I'm going to start by just asking, how many of you, like me, I think maybe this shirt even, have discovered and purchased a great new product or brand in a social channel, from maybe an influencer or marketplace channel? Yes? Not? Okay. Probably even more than raise their hands. But actually, if you think about it, like if 20 years ago I told you I bought a product online from a brand I'd never heard of, I put it on my skin, I ate it, I gave it to my kids, all because strangers recommended it, you would probably think I was a little bit insane. Yet that is the state of commerce today. And it's never been easier for digitally native brands to launch new products and brands in the world and practically get hundreds of millions of customers overnight through big marketplace channels, social channels, all of it. And it's not all so bad, right? You know, we found cool new t-shirts and new products that we might have never found before. Niche communities are being served. Maybe even some are breaking through the old model. But it's also a very crowded market. You know, that makes it harder and harder for brands to stand out. It makes it really confusing for customers as well, and really competitive. And if you look at the state of websites, commerce websites, it's a sea of sameness, you know, mostly because I think commerce has been thought of as more transactional, a bit of a bolt-on to like the core marketing, the core business, rather than creativity guiding it. I'm a chief creative officer, so I'm looking at things through a creative angle. And it's really been applying best practices. So big platform builds, which are leading to a lot of these commerce interfaces with very little differentiation. And that's whether you're selling toilet paper or luxury goods. So whether you are, you know, standing for clean with toilet paper or dreams for luxury brand, it's still a big waste of a brand. And what it's doing is it's sacrificing creativity and innovation for efficiencies, for best practices. And that's a material risk for brands as they continue to swell with competition, because best practices are just about not losing, they're not about winning. We've heard a lot about Gen AI, and yes, I'm going to talk about it as well, put it on your bingo card. And if you think about it, you know, if that all wasn't challenging enough, the fact that all these brands exist, you add Gen AI into the mix. And now every brand, big or small, has access to these advanced capabilities, such as making quality assets like these. Literally, my team made these in a couple of minutes, I think. And so markets are not only getting more crowded, but they're also getting more competitive, right? It's swelling the middle with this kind of elevated mediocrity of all of the assets now that can be pumped out there. But we believe we actually have the ability to use these technologies in creative ways, to not just create more of the same, you know, with efficiency as the mindset, but to use creativity to design the commerce experiences that are going to lead us into the future, that really are this blend between marketing, commerce, entertainment. So I'm going to share a little example, a personal example, of when I started to play around with a lot of these tools in the last year and a half. And I went into it, I think, with an efficiency mindset. I actually needed to plan my daughter's 10th birthday, so I'm like, I'm going to use these tools for a personal need. And I actually left really creatively inspired. So my daughter had a really hard brief. We're used to hard briefs from our clients. She had a very specific party theme. It was a spa day slime party sleepover, which actually don't exist on the Party City website, right? You're not going to find that in a pull-down menu. So I asked one of the tools to come up with some names for the birthday party. Even chief creative officers cut corners sometimes, and if you can get a little extra help, it's great. We landed on the sensational slime soiree and slumber spa, which is impossible to say, but I thought it was pretty creative. I also asked it to create some fun images for it, and I'm not going to lie, there was some freaky stuff that came back. The one on the left is just one example. Yes, these tools are still working through some of the kinks, but we landed on the one on the right pretty quickly, which I thought, you know, with a couple of adjustments to my prompt, we got an image that I felt like, you know, she was at least, the client was happy. I also asked it to generate the perfect birthday cake, a goodie bag, which brought me to these. We were happy. And then not even slipping out of mode, I went into purchase mode, and I just asked it for some names of a local bakery that could help me make that cake, a list of goodie bag products, and where I could buy them in my neighborhood. So all with that, I had everything complete. In the end, like any client, she changed the brief. It became a purple puppy party, so we started it all over again. But I think what I took away was that all I had to do was just ask it for what I wanted. It was just this really simple two-way conversation. It accommodated every personal request I had. Sure, I had to use a couple of tools for now, but it was really the seamless blend that followed me along my journey versus me having to kind of piece together a journey according to how brands have been marketing to me up to this point. And I was really part of building that experience. Nothing was pre-stocked. It let me guide that. And we think these are the shifts, this type of interaction is really the shifts of the new type of interaction and behavior that's going to change the way that we expect to engage with brands and how we buy from brands. It's going to be a really different kind of experience. And we think it will lead to a few fundamental shifts that will help create those kind of new commerce relationships with customers in the future. So the first wave of commerce was all about direct, right? It was a new distribution channel. Brands could now directly go to customers. But it has been pretty one way in the example of like I went to a brand's world, navigated it, and found what I needed there. And we think that this is the shift, right? This shift from D2C, which is direct to actually DWC, which is dialoguing with your customers. As we saw in my example, just really having a conversation. And what that means is brands are listening, right? It's also a behavior shift as marketers. We've all been, as brand agencies, as brands, talking to, marketing to, putting it out there. And this notion of having to have a dialogue, we think, is really different. But obviously, when I say things like listen, we got to be careful. It can come off a little bit creepy when you say listen, but it's really about truly understanding, being transparent. I think customers actually do want to be heard. They just don't want to be tracked. They want to feel that they're in control of their data. They're in control of their information, sharing what they want to share, and making sure that whatever we're using, we're serving them with it. The next one is that, really the challenge, and I think the price of entry, is that brands have to show up consistently, separately, but consistently across every brand channel. And that's really about being omni-channel. This next shift, though, is that just like we saw in my experience, we need to engage the customer wherever they are and like whatever mode that they're in as they go in between modes. So we think this shift is from this idea of omni-channel to omni-modal. That's really building experiences through the lens of the customer versus the platforms. And really we think the new technologies that are out there, the promises of them, is they'll help move between modes much more easily, to be able to bring this information across these different platforms, channels, bring it all together, understanding not just the words I put in, but images, sounds, video, across a variety of interactions. And the third, as I shared some of those website examples that feel very much like separate from the brand, many companies are still locked into this idea, an outdated view of digital commerce is just sort of bolted on to the core experience and core business. Often not even including the best and most creative assets of the brand, whether that be celebrity partnerships, the expertise, the historical expertise that they built, and even just like creativity. It's been this kind of dumping ground for assets, right? And I think we need to move beyond just the simple ambition of kind of dumping assets there, being very transactional, to thinking of commerce as a marketing initiative. Like, how do we actually innovate and shape what those commerce experiences are for the future? And so, as we saw in my experience, I'm really starting to build that with the brands. And we think this third shift is going beyond just thinking of it as a bolted-on experience to actually building experiences with your customers and your partners. And it's because you're listening to them, you're responding kind of in real time to the way they want to engage. They're much more part of creating that experience with you. And this is giving the individuals the tools to create their own version of your brand. So what's my version of the brand versus your version of the brand? It really becomes almost like individualized, but at scale. And this new generation of technologies will make it much easier for brands to build these experiences with you. It also helps you build the brand, right? The scale that we need to build brands today, having your customers part of that journey is going to really help. It also gives them, I think, a more connection with the brand, a sense of ownership, which we also think drives loyalty and advocacy. So in a world where customers are now actively shaping their experiences, where brands have to, listen and answer back in many ways, we think you need to ask yourself as a brand, do you have a promptable brand? So what is it that they need to ask of you? What type of content will you make that's promptable? How are you enabling them to ask it of you? And I think customers will expect you to know your business, but also know them. And that's not just knowing your product categories, but having the wealth of the expertise you've built and collected around them over time. It's not just knowing what someone bought, but like why they bought it. Like, why does that mean something to them? So it's really intently listening to them and understanding them at a more personal level so that you can help them find the things that they maybe wouldn't have discovered, things that they love. And so what we wanted to do is think about like what might a promptable brand look like. We built a little prototype, a demo of something that we think brands and us and we all should start making right now. We used one of our longest term clients, Nike, because we think brands still play a role in this world. It isn't going to just live in the AI land. We actually think brands can bring their expertise, bring their best assets, and build experiences with and for people. So we put something together. As I mentioned, it's not a real experience yet. And so just in terms of the journey, let's say I'm scrolling social media, I love tennis, I end up clicking on a lot of tennis highlights from the recent men's tournament in China, if anyone watched any of it. That Alcaraz Center final in Beijing was incredible. But really it becomes a reminder to me that I need to play more tennis. So I bookmark some clips, I share it with my Nike assistant to help motivate me to get back on the court. The assistant knows my game, knows everything I've bought and why I like it. It has the entire world of Nike knowledge at its fingertips, ready to serve me, so to speak. And I created my own tennis version, one that would give me the kick in the ass that I needed. I need that right now. I'm busy here, not doing much tennis. But I could always change up the sport and the tone of voice. So we're going to call this one Coach Mac. Might be familiar to you. And we actually believe this is the future of celebrity ambassadors. So they can leverage, the brands leverage their partnerships, the expertise and trust that an athlete brings. And this will enhance the customer experience, that interaction. We also think it's a huge benefit ultimately to athletes and celebrities. So their likeness that, they're in control of the limitations there, but their likeness, their personal brand can take on a whole new life. So I'm going to try this out. Bear with me. Okay, Coach Mac, I need to get my game back on track. Can you help me out?
Okay, Tiff, I have some suggestions. I took a look at the references you saved, and this is interesting. Look at this clip of Carlos. See how compact his swing is? That's how he's able to meet the ball out front and generate the power he does. Next time you're out there, focus on shortening your swing. Let's be honest, you're not going to hit winners like Carlos, but you'll notice a difference.
Okay, thanks, Coach Mac.
By the way, you wanted me to remind you when you need to replace your shoes. You've been wearing your current Nike tennis shoes for about 10 months. Given your toe drag and the hard surface you play on, you should be due for a new pair in the next month. I'll add these to your cart. And, you're not moving your feet enough like I keep telling you. Just saying.
Okay, well, simmer down, Coach Mac. I'm on stage right now, so take it easy on me. Anyways, now that I'm getting back out there, I should probably up my style game as well. As sure, it's all about tennis and the moves, but really it's the look. We all know. So I love you, Coach Mac, but I've got another assistant. I consult for that.
Hi, Tiff. Hi, John. I'll take it from here.
You cannot be serious.
Hello, Naomi. Like I was saying before, there's some times when I want to change things up. So maybe I want to talk to a different assistant who has a different tone or a different expertise. And they can even talk to each other and exchange information. So Coach Naomi, I'm going to make an effort to play more, but I really need like a good look to go with it.
Okay, I had an idea. Tell me what you think. The other day when you were wearing your smart glasses at the courts, you passed by someone wearing this cute outfit that matches the preferences you set for me. It's from the Nike Yoon collection. There are a few pieces from this collection I thought would be perfect for you, especially this top with the collared v-neck. Nice, right? Want to try it on?
So I gave her access to my glasses, got a little bit of information. I like what she's put together. Yeah.
I sized it up, since I know you like your shirts a bit looser, and this is a tighter fitting top. What do you think?
I mean, I like it. Can I see it? I think in navy. I don't know about the white. But I really kind of want to see the whole racket, the whole look. So can you try that out for me?
Want me to add it to your
Very
cart?
good. Yeah, let's do it. I think I'm ready to check out.
Okay, I'll use your preferred payment method. Since you shared your location with me, I see you are in Lisbon. Would you like to have your items delivered to you there in case you want to get out and practice a bit?
Well, I hadn't planned on it, but maybe I can fit it in since I have clearly not been doing a good enough job. That is, if I don't end up bar hopping at the barrel till too late tonight.
Well, you're in luck. I was anticipating that you might like to have the option to play, so I made a reservation just in case. I've got a hold for 8 a.m. Thursday at the tennis center in Monsanto Forest Park, and I've scheduled a reminder for you to go to bed by 11:30 the night before.
Okay, I'm sure I'll stick to that.
FYI, Tiff, the courts at this club are red clay. Nike makes the same shoe, but with soles made for clay for more grip. Want me to update your order?
Okay, that sounds pretty fancy. Let's do it.
Order placed. I included a free water bottle. It's important to stay hydrated. And I've also shared a short video from Nike training with Rafa Nadal giving clay court tips for first-timers. By the way, Thursday morning, the drive to Monsanto Park will be about 15 minutes. I put together a meditation playlist for the ride. Take it from me, prioritizing your inner game is key.
Could definitely have used that meditation playlist before this. Thanks, Coach Naomi. Tennis first thing in Lisbon after a late night out. What could go wrong, right? But truly, I think that's an example of, where you are a brand that listens and engages in this paradigm shift, with what commerce experiences can be, leveraging not just the efficiencies, which we hear a lot about with AI, but real creative uses, building brands in different ways, more promptable brands, where they're listening to their customers, they're building with them. We think this is what's gonna help reap rewards, even create, ironically, with AI, deeper, more intimate relationships with other people, with humans, with their customers, and the real win at the end. So thank you for joining. If you'd like to keep up with any latest ideas like that, please subscribe to our newsletter. Have a good one.